coal has been pulled out of the ground to heat homes, to heat fireboxes of some of the largest steam locomotives ever made. But this stuff was famously hauled by an engine in my roster I haven't really touched on yet. This is the Class A. It's a LionMaster TMCC version, and we're diving into it right now here on Datafied.
First up, some quick facts on the Class A. Norfolk and Western built and designed these in-house for their railroad, and they were designed to tackle all the weird, steep, stiff grades of the line and haul fast, heavy freight trains, and they were exceedingly good at this. They made 43 of these locomotives between 1936 and all the way up to the final batch being built in 1950 before they were all scrapped and retired between 58 and 59. But these things were incredible. It's a 2-6-6-4 arrangement, so they're articulated so they can tackle those grades and such and all those curves that the East Coast lines are known for. Shown here is number 1234. This one was part of a group of 10 that were built during the war in 1944 to meet the rising demands of increased freight traffic on their lines. Unfortunately, this one did not survive the scrapper's torch. There's only one of these examples left around, and that's number 1218, which enjoyed some excursion service and is now on display in Roanoke, Virginia. Now then, this O-gauge version we're going to look at today is a Lionel LionMaster with TMCC that was released in 2004. They did release this a little bit later with legacy control and whistle steam, but they're essentially the same physical design with a few minor differences. I got my example from my buddy Art of Art's Model Trains, and the only reason he gave it up is because he already has 1218, the legacy version of this. Really happy with this version, although I did have a small issue that kind of sidelined this engine for a little while for me. The front wheels stopped moving, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. I checked all the linkages and everything, and when I finally opened it up, it looked like one of the wires had just detached itself from the motor. That's a problem you want to watch out for on older articulated locomotives. Sometimes the wiring can get a little old and dried out and such, and articulated engines especially, because those motors are moving left and right, can essentially work those wires apart over time. So just keep that in mind if you're looking at one used.
Let's talk sound effects on the Norfolk and Western Class A. This thing's sounds are awesome, and I think that's kind of a hallmark of older TMCC engines. They all sound unique. They all sound like they were made specifically for that locomotive and not recycled from something else. And this one does some great sounds. Right off the bat, number 1234, we're not going to call it 1, 2, 3, 4 because that would sound like a combination an idiot would put on his luggage. And thankfully, the tower comm doesn't do that either.
Norfolk and Western 1234, please hold your position.
So he sounds great, and then there's also TMCC garbled crew talk. It's always kind of hilarious to me that Lionel went to the trouble to give it road number specific dialogue for the tower comm and engine specific garbled crew talk that you can't understand, but it's different on every engine. That older TMCC 3976 up top there, he's got different garbled crew talk than this guy down here. Then really everything that's TMCC just has its own unique sounds. Speaking of unique sounds, that whistle's awesome. It's got some nice kind of tapers to it, and if you catch it right, see how there was kind of that dip to it and then it went back up? It almost sounds like it was a quillable whistle, but it's actually just the sound files overlapping slightly, and I like that. I like that it kind of mimics a quillable whistle, even though that was not a feature on TMCC engines. The bell on here sounds great as well. Again, sounds specific. It doesn't sound like just some random bell. This is the bell that only sounds like this on our Class A, and that's it. Got a nice little taper to it as well. There's other sounds on here as well, and I love it when it does this kind of blowdown effect, which you can actually trigger with the remote. I can actually feel it slightly shake the layout here when it does that sound effect. It's just so cool. The LionMaster team did a fantastic job nailing the proportions on this semi-scale design. The Class A looks really great with this nice kind of streamlined plow on the front. It's got the numbers on the light there as well. And then you've even got the builder's plate and all these great separately applied details. Looks fantastic with all those blow-off valves and all the pipes and everything working together. And then you get here. Yep, it's definitely TMCC time. That big old tender gap looks a little awkward. The legacy version does close this up a bit more, so that's kind of a perk of that engine. But honestly, this one's still doing great, and I'll show you why in a second with the speed control. The rest of the details back here, you've just got a molded in coal. It's not a separate coal load up there, which is a bit of a bummer, but no problem anyways. And on the back, you do have a reversing light and some nice details and decals on the back there, and a doghouse with nobody home and no light on inside. Oh well. Of the LionMasters they've made, this one definitely has the least amount of noticeable gap between the boiler shell and the rest of the moving wheels down below. There's hardly any gap up front and underneath here in the middle, and I really like the fact that it hides that. It does it really well. It's probably one of the best LionMaster steam engines for that. There's that massive tender gap again there. The nice details there on the tender, all the riveting and everything's there. And now I want to talk a bit about these hopper cars. This one was weathered for me by my friend Caleb Easter, and that's kind of what made me want to pick up more of these types of hoppers. So I went out and found all different colors and all different numbers of Norfolk and Western Lionel semi-scale hoppers. I could have gone out and gotten the Rail King. They make a whole bunch of them that are all individually numbered, but that one wouldn't have matched the one that Caleb got me, so I went out of my way to go find more of these. I'm really glad that I've got multiple variations of them with different numbers and different colors. It's just kind of a cool look for my Norfolk and Western coal train here. Something that I've heard about before is the weird speed control on these things, because this isn't Odyssey. This is Flyer Chief or something for American Flyer, because the shell of the Class A was too small to house Odyssey. And even when they did the Legacy version, it's not Odyssey to Legacy speed control. It's still this weird Flyer Chief stuff, which is fine. There's nothing against American Flyer. I love that stuff. But when you're used to more finite speed controls, this thing can feel really weird to control. It's doing a pretty good job now at lower speeds, but once you start to ramp things up, it just feels like it's going to run away on you. Oh, there it goes again. Just did 2 speed steps and it's off to the races. For basically being a 20-year-old engine, this thing's fantastic. It checks all the boxes. Great sounds, looks fantastic, performs great, as long as you don't run it at too high of speeds. But the other things that you can improve on this, like you could change the cruise control out. You could improve the smoke. You could add a super chuff to make it have 4 chuffs per revolution, since it's a articulated engine. I haven't done any of that stuff before, so let me know, is that stuff worth the trouble? And more importantly, do you think I could fit it inside the Class A, especially if it's already on a little bit of short space just because of the cruise control stuff that I mentioned before? I wonder if there's even room in here to make those improvements. Let me know down in the comments if you've done this stuff before. Well, that about does it for the Class A. Buddy, what do you think of this thing?
Great.
You always say great, so what do you like about the Class A?
I like the talking and the speaking.
Oh, is that why we use it a lot at Halloween? This is a great Halloween engine. I know we've got a lot of Union Pacific. We're more Midwest themed here on the secondhand Overland, but it's a LionMaster. I can't pass that up. I love these engines. I'm making a big video about all of our LionMaster steam engines because we also got the Hudson recently, didn't we? So now we have every type of LionMaster steam engine ever made.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's also just a great engine to run, especially at low speeds, and the sounds are fantastic. So yeah, don't pass on one of these things. They're awesome, and they can fit around 031 curves, which means they can pretty much go around to anybody's layout. Well, anything else you want to tell them?
No.
Okay, play your favorite sound and we'll finish up the video.
Yeah.
Which one's your favorite sound?
My favorite.
It does have a cool whistle. This one's mine.
My favorite.
Spooky. We'll see you guys.
On the next.